Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers he plucks. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Adam Heath Avitable.
This is Dating Kinda Sucks, a podcast about dating, sex, and relationships. This week, we'll be talking about how relationships evolve over time. Enjoy the show.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, like, comment, all the things, because this way we can keep bringing you great content, long episodes, and unedited information that I provide that Sarah wants me to edit more that I'm not going to. But thank you for
content.
Great
Great
great content.
Yay! Wonderful.
Look at us. We're back on schedule.
Are we? I mean, we're
two
still
episodes
on
in
the road.
June. Close enough.
Yeah, we're still on the road, same spots as we were last time. So
Yes. Except
adjusting
this time,
to this.
I'm actually recording at my little work area instead
Not
of last time we had rain pouring down, and so the skylight behind me was very loud, so I had to sit in the master suite. This time I'm actually out in the cabin enjoying a little bit more space trying to record.
After being out drinking right before we record.
Yes, I am a little tipsy, and
So, is this even a good time? Should we just reschedule?
absolutely.
No, let's do it. Grab a drink for yourself. So now
That's
I
right.
have a drink and he's just drinking Diet Coke. And here we
Well,
go.
yes, because I went to the movies today, and then after the movies went to my new favorite bar here in Waynesville, North Carolina.
I love that you have a favorite bar already. Hang
Yeah,
on.
it's called the Water and Hole. It's great.
First.
And I went there, and I've been there since like 3:30 this afternoon, and it is now 8 o'clock. So nice solid 4.5 hours of having some drinks.
I would say I'm proud of you, but it's not like you're doing anything new. This is just another city you're doing it in.
I've been going there enough now that I walk in, they're like, "Oh, you want a vodka Red Bull?" Like they know my drink, so that's great. They know that I have an alcohol taste like a 16-year-old sorority girl.
That's fair. That's your drink of choice there. Okay, and your name.
Yeah. Vodka Red Bull. I actually went there last Thursday. My sister was in town. We went and did karaoke there. That was a fun time. So it's a fun place. It is my new favorite place in Waynesville that I have discovered.
Is there anybody worth talking to at that bar besides the bartender, or what?
I mean,
I've look like.
I've had some matches with some people, and I think that some potential dates, but then they've ended up canceling for some reason, one or the other. But there's been some decent people in here.
Yeah.
Somewhat. Yeah.
It's a smaller town though, so there's not
very much.
So you're struggling to get matches or not?
Well, yeah, I feel like most of the matches are like at least 15 miles outside of town. And it was funny. I went to the post office today because I was waiting on something from my ex-landlord from the old house. And I gave him the address and like, oh, that's Zach. Zach's the one who drives to your area. Let's call Zach and see where it is. Zach is like, oh, I remember that. Yeah, no, I sent that back because that address doesn't get mail. Because I'm at a cabin that it's my grandfather's.
Typically, no one's there.
Yeah, nobody's there, so they just considered it a dead address. So what are they?
That's how small of a town you're in right now. I know that place.
Yeah, not only do they know the delivery guy, but the delivery guy remembered the piece of mail that I was waiting on. And remembered that he sent it back already. So that was entertaining.
Well, you're having fun there, and
I am. I'm
trying to go on dates, meeting people.
And it's funny, this weekend I actually had two potential dates. One in Asheville. Actually, both of them were in Asheville, which is about 45 minutes away. The first one
that's more than your standard drive right there.
Is. One of them had to reschedule because her car wasn't working and she had a problem with it. And so we're going to try to reschedule. The other one, I probably could have gone. They were going to go do karaoke in Asheville on Saturday night. And she told me they're going to be in town starting at 5 and then go and do karaoke, blah, blah, I wasn't feeling it. So I told her I'm staying in town. I don't feel like driving all the way over there. Just I'm exhausted, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't end up going to karaoke until almost midnight. And she texted me and told me that. And I said, you know what? As much as that sounds like fun, I'm so glad I didn't go because the anal retentive part of me, when I go to karaoke, I want to go there when it starts.
You're there
Because,
the whole night. You're setting up
yes,
shop. You're
like
getting
I'll
your
stay late, but I want to sing. And if I want to sing, you got to get there early, put your name in, get in the rotation. So that way, as more people come in, you're still in there already. If you show up at midnight, the chances of you getting to sing before the bar closes are barely, it's zero.
True. Yeah.
So that actually would have annoyed me significantly. So I was actually kind of glad that I didn't go. And I told her that. And she
Just
said
for the
that's
karaoke, really. It's
yeah,
because
that
you
was
could.
the only reason I was going was karaoke. Yeah. I mean, the company would have been fine, but I love doing karaoke. It's a fun way to just meet people, is just to go sing terrible songs or go sing good songs terribly. Either way,
I don't know if I would say that's fun for me, but yeah.
I would love to see you do karaoke.
I don't know. I just always get weirdly nervous because I'm trying too hard, even though I know you just shouldn't try that hard
Uh,
with
you
karaoke.
should not try.
I don't know.
It was a fun time. I went actually with my sister. Now, my sister and I, she's 3 years younger than I am, and she and I have not hung out together ever. I
Really?
feel like the
Ever
last time,
in your
well,
adult life?
yeah, as an adult, I'm trying to think. I think the last time that we did anything together was at someone else's wedding, like a relative's wedding, when she and I were just there was no liquor. It was a wine bar, so I was like, "Well, I guess I have to drink a lot of wine instead." And she and I were just like chugging bottles of wine and just hanging out, and like that was the last time, and that was probably like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So
Damn.
like, yeah, it was the first time, but came to town, and so we hung out. We did some quote unquote hiking, which basically meant we would go see a waterfall, and there was a path all the way down to the waterfall that I would walk down while she stayed up at top. And then I was like, oh, I have to climb back up now, and I had to realize that's no
Bitch,
fun.
right? Yeah.
So that I was nice and sore, but and then we went and did karaoke, and it was actually a good time. Once she drinks a little bit, she starts talking to random strangers, so that worked out well. I could just let her talk to people and just do my own thing. But it was a fun time. It's the first probably positive sibling experience that I've had. I would say in mostly my entire life.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah,
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're having fun and doing karaoke and finding a local bar to hang at for 5+ hours on a Monday.
exactly. I mean, what else is a Monday but a day to drink? I feel like Mondays are just designed for that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have real jobs, then not so much.
Real
But
job,
yeah.
whatever. I was worried too when we were doing karaoke about my voice, and actually, apparently, even though my voice is now, apparently, this is how it's going to sound forever.
Ever
Uh,
since you got sick. Yeah, I guess
it's like
that's true. Your voice has been different ever
it's
since.
got
I
this, yeah,
noticed it,
this like
but
weird, deeper, raspier aspect to it. It does not affect my singing. I was able to sing without a problem. I was worried about it sounding like a 14-year-old boy, like who hits puberty all of a sudden, like singing. It was like, just having the voice like crack like that. It did not, so that was good.
good.
So yeah,
Happy for
so
you.
I know. So I was down there drinking, and then you messaged me and said it's time to record. So I came back up the mountain, and
And here we are.
you said, let's talk about what you said because
Okay, okay, yes,
'cause
let's
I
talk
don't
about.
remember. I don't remember what. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't hear like the connection was
Yes, the
terrible.
connection was so bad. So I get on OnlyFans for about 2 seconds because I haven't been on it in months, and I'm like, "I wonder if I have any messages or anything."
Right.
And
Because
the
if you're by the way, if you're just new to listening, Sarah has a OnlyFans called Millennial Toes where she talks about foot fetishes and she sells pictures of her feet.
Right, correct. And
Yes.
that came from my podcast, Millennial Toes. So, but because I've been pretty dead on that whole front for a while, I was like, let me just check it just to fuck around. And as I'm checking it, I just see a fucking photo of your dick pop up. And typically, you have like the blur over it, or it's the
Right.
second photo in the slider, and I just know not to look. But this was. Oh, I'm just relaxing over the mountain and just sitting here in the bed enjoying the view, and then I just saw your dick.
Well, okay, so that was actually an accident.
Oh, what? You posting that was an accident?
Yeah, I had a picture of just the view, and then it was supposed to be the picture of the view was the free picture, and then once you
Because you changed
pay,
it.
Well, yeah, but once I saw it, I was like, well, who's gonna see it? I didn't actually think about you. I was just like, I was like, what does it matter? I was like, what does it matter? But yeah, so it was just a picture. It was just literally just a picture of the view, and then once you paid $7, whatever it was, then there was the picture of my dick in front of the view, and then there was a video.
$7 to not see it on.
Then there was a picture of me jerking off, a video of me jerking off
Oh,
for
thank
$7.
God I didn't see it. Yeah,
No,
I
no, no.
wasn't gonna pay
So
for
when I uploaded it, because as you know, OnlyFans system is really it's actually not the most user friendly, and somehow when I uploaded it, it didn't upload the proper video, the proper photo first. It did just the dick photo first, and I didn't realize till someone else was like, "Hey, you just have your dick out there,
Dick's out
right?"
there for free.
I was like, "Yeah, all right. Well, I guess I got to pay for the goods anyways after that." So yeah, there we go. So my
You've sent me
OnlyFans
photos of your balls before, but
every
I've never
holiday
seen
I sent you
dick
a
like,
decorated
yeah, you
photo of
sent me the
my balls, yes, of
the
course.
Turkey Day stuff. You always send me a gobble gobble. Here are my balls, but I've never actually seen your dick. So this is a new front for me to a new
Well,
part of our relationship.
there
Now
we
I've
go.
seen your dick. Great, wonderful.
Oh, well, yeah, that was definitely unintentional, but it happened, and we'll move on from that. But
God, please. I'm like, damn, I know I haven't had dick in a while, but that wasn't the one I wanted to
but,
see in a photo. God damn it.
yeah, I can only imagine because if it was the opposite way, I would be like, what the fuck? I don't want to see that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if
You
it
just
was
want to
you,
see my tits. You don't want to
yeah,
see, yeah.
if it was naked, I'd be like, I don't want to see that. Like, that's gonna be really hard to jerk off to. Like, it's gonna take a lot of effort to jerk off to. I don't want to do that.
Oh my, it's gonna take a lot of effort. What the fuck? Well, great.
S-
Wonderful.
So that's yeah, that was a couple days ago. I mean, it was a beautiful view, and I was just laying I was laying in front of the
We're hard
windows.
in
I
front
was
of the
bored.
mountains, I
Yeah,
guess.
like why not? Why not just
And you too could see Adam's dick for free by visiting his OnlyFans at onlyfans.com/Adam
available.
Heavitable, or
Yeah,
is it
just
just
available.
Heavitable?
Just
There we
available.
go. There's a link that I don't need to visit anytime soon. But if you want to see his dick for free, and then the $7 video of him jerking off, there you have it.
That's right. Which I think 5 people have bought now. So like I made $35 off of that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it's pretty great. I made several $100s off of OnlyFans, and that's just incredible to me that I could just be like bored, just be like, you know what, I'm gonna jerk off and record it and put it up there, and someone's like, I'm gonna buy that. More
Just in
power
your
to
free
them.
time. See, I get specific questions of, hey, could you send me a photo of you measuring your foot? I want to see how long your foot is versus me saying I'm a 9.5.
Do
But
they
I don't have a
typically
ruler.
message you?
No.
See, you should set it up so they have to even
I
tip
know, but I'm
them
not.
because they're making money from everything.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm not on it enough to be.
Should be.
I know. I know.
I can make this type of money. Just think about
You
what
could
you
make
could make
$35 in one video.
just
But
for one
yeah.
video. That's gonna be a nice little nest egg. Like I'm just gonna forget about it and just occasionally post like once a week to it. And then like 5 years from now, I'll be like logging in and be like, how much money do I have in there? And it'll just be like a nice, like, $5,000 or whatever that I can use just to do whatever with.
Yeah.
Why not? Right?
I mean, I know why not for me, but yeah, why not for you?
Why not for you?
Just, I mean, I don't know. People can
Yours are
get,
just your fucking feet. Like you're not
they
even
are,
showing
but
anything. That's like
I'm getting specific requests for, I want to see foot job videos. I want to see this and that. And I need a dick for a foot job video, number one, which
I feel
Master
like
Nut
Master
is,
None would like
he has
he already volunteered, hasn't
graciously
he?
volunteered for that.
Yeah.
But, I have to plan for that and set it up on a it takes some kind of effort to get a good angle of my feet. Plus right now with being in Florida and my feet are a fucking wreck. So there's no
So he's
point.
coming to visit you soon, right?
Yeah, so he'll be here on Thursday.
Perfect time to go get a pedicure and then have like a poolside photo shoot in Florida where you're just like just
I
jerking off
don't need
your
to do
feet.
that. I don't know. I don't need to. I'd rather fuck him than worry about
Me
making.
too. But like
I,
you just like set up. This is like you just set up. You're like, oh, let's just do this real quick. Let's spend 3 minutes. Let me just jerk off with my feet real quick. Record it. Blah blah. Nothing. And then you're
that's
like,
the other thing. He's not gonna get off from that.
no,
I've
he's
fucked.
not. And then you're like, all right, this is all done. Let's put the camera away. All right,
Everybody
now
wants
let's bang.
everyone everybody wants the money shot though for those types of videos.
So when he's about to
So
cut, he
if
goes,
he
"All right,
can't,
pull over. Let me get the camera back out again. Pull out and shoot on my feet. And there we go."
I guess we could do it like that. I'm not.
Do you think porn is just shot because, like,
No,
straight?
I
You're
know.
just like
I
they
know.
have sex and then all of a sudden they ejaculate? No, there's probably like 30 minutes of the guy being like, "Oh, hold on, I'm almost there. Wait, let me pull up something else. I gotta pull up some gay porn. I gotta do something. I'm not gonna be." And then finally gets there and they're like, "Quick, record, we're ready." And then they get there and yeah.
I'm not. I haven't entered that phase of my relationship yet with him where we're on the porn
I
making
feel
side.
like he's in. Like I feel like no matter what, you
Not
might have
in.
there. He's in. He's in.
It'll be another discussion after he hears this and goes, "So you want to shoot some porn?" Is what I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
yeah. We all want the foot job video. Is basically what it is.
Great. Well, more people can request that on OnlyFans, and then I can get to work on that, I suppose.
Right, just get pre-orders. There we go. That's the way to do it.
All right. Well, enough about
We
that.
already know, like, it takes 2 hands. Like, we already know. So we already know it's gonna be a good foot
Oh
job
yeah,
video.
I guess I did say yes.
He said he already said it took 2 hands. So we know that that he's got the dick for the foot job videos. Like we know that it's there. Like, and we already know
Does
he has
have
feet.
feet for it, yes, and I have the feet
Dick.
for it, so there
That's
we
right.
go.
It's a match made in heaven right there for your foot fetish empire.
In other news in my life, I mean, damn, can we get off this topic?
Uh, what else is going on in other news then? If you have other news, let's hear about it.
There's really no other news. I'm just really excited that I finally get to see him after, I think this is the longest we haven't seen one another since we started dating now.
It's been what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
It'll be almost 3 weeks when he finally gets here. So that's a
That's
considerable
cute.
amount of time. Yeah, I really honestly, I really miss him. I was thinking, the first couple of days being down here, I was like, "Oh, this is great." I'm feeling I don't know, I feel not that I feel free and from being away from him or whatever, but I was just like,
Right.
"Ooh, I just feel super independent. I'm on my own, whatever." And then a couple of days after, I was like, "Oh, he would like this. He would like this. Oh, I can't wait to take him here." And I've just been thinking a lot about him and missing him. So
Oh, that's so
I
cute.
don't know how much he's missing me, but every time I'm like, "Oh, I can't wait till he gets here. I'm really looking forward to it."
I'm sure he's missing you as well, and that's adorable. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of funny because you are so independent. So to hear you say that is,
Isn't it weird?
yeah,
I really didn't think I was gonna be like that, but I wanna talk to him all the time, and
right.
he's a lot quieter on the phone than I am, and we have a lot of just pauses just being on the phone, and we haven't really had any Skype calls or FaceTime or anything like that since I've been here. It's just been on the phone chatting here and there about certain things, but I'm like, "Damn, I actually wanna see him." So,
Yeah.
and then my parents are we're gonna all meet up in the same town on Friday or Saturday, whatever day. And so he's finally gonna meet my parents. So that's
Ooh,
happening too. That kind of was over the
that'll be
past
fun.
weekend deciding that's gonna be a thing. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, here's what you're walking into this weekend. Do you want to do this or no?" I could tell them no, we're busy with other things because it's your trip down here. But just letting you know, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. We could do that for a day." So that's what we're
He
gonna do.
doesn't know what he's getting himself into, but you know what? You can always leave. No, it'll be interesting.
Oh,
It'll
I
be
mean,
fun.
here's what you're walking into. My father, who doesn't shut the fuck up and will tell the same story 10 times in 10 different ways, and you're like, "Wait, what? Huh?" My mother, who needs extensive therapy, and my dad's girlfriend, who is an alcoholic who needs rehab. So that's what he's
Right.
walking. And then he's already met my brother and my brother's fiance, who he's cool with. But that's what he's walking into on the family side of things. So, but
So
he's
at least he's got your brother to go talk to. Like he can be like, like go hang out, and be like, hey, at least somebody that he already knows.
true. Yes.
That'll be fun. Your family, having met your mother, I can only imagine what your father is like.
Oh, my
And
just you
yeah,
think I'm
just
loud talking? My dad is extremely it's where I get it from. He's extremely
right.
loud. He doesn't like any silence. He's got to tell another story. So, Master of None will have his ears talked off pretty much.
That'll be fun. I think that'll be a good experience. He gets to see where you come from, which is always important.
Oh God, I'm more scared than he is, I
I'm
think.
sure. I remember going to meet my ex-wife's family, and it was always an interesting experience because like you feel like you want to impress them, of course,
Mhm.
but at the same time you don't want to be like douchey, so you're like trying to just like fit in. And they all have their own inside jokes and inside stories and all that stuff. So it's always it's always an interesting experience when it happens.
Yeah, I think meeting his family, I was more on my P's and Q's of, oh, I probably shouldn't say fuck around them, or I was just more put
Have you?
together and quiet. I think I have. Well, yes, because when the bomb went off in Nashville and his
Oh,
dad thought it
right.
was just a transformer that blew up or whatever, I was driving to Master Nun's house and his dad's on the phone like it wasn't a fucking transformer. I was like, well, that happened. That wasn't the best side of me, but under those circumstances, it was what it was.
Yeah, I just can't imagine having you not swear. Like that just seems like, insane.
Oh, I'm actively stopping myself from cursing and I'm hyper aware. Oh, there are children around. Oh, I need to make a good impression. Watch what you say. But
Right.
yeah, I'm sure Master of None will just be pretty quiet, answer the questions, whoever asks, and go from there. I don't.
Well, hopefully he wears an entertaining T-shirt.
Yes, that too. That too. I don't think I need to prep him on that, but maybe I'll just throw that in there.
No, I hope he does. If he wears something insane to wear, like a great T-shirt, like a one that you're like, oh my god, I can't believe you're wearing that. To
He
be
only
like,
really has two, so we'll see.
I feel like it's gonna be less about your dad or your mom and more about your dad's girlfriend.
Mm-mm.
I feel like that'll be
Ain't
basically
that the truth?
90% of it. Yeah.
I feel bad for being shitty, but I'm at the point now where I can't be quiet about it anymore. And she's fantastic when she's sober, but god damn it, when she
When
drinks.
is that?
When is what?
When she's sober.
In the morning
Oh,
before
okay.
8:30. Yeah. So when she wakes up at 7, so that like hour and a half before she
Right,
starts
right.
drinking, she's great.
Yeah, I have an uncle that after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, especially on the weekends, not to answer the phone if he calls
Ugh.
because that's when he's already gotten into the Southern Comfort or whatever he's drinking, and that's when like he already has some crazy idea. Hey, what if we do this? Like he's got some new product he wants to invent or some new, the thing that makes absolutely no like logical sense, whatever. So everyone knows just to not answer the phone after like 1:30.
Well, because you're just gonna be stuck there nodding your head,
Yep.
listening, not getting a word in, and that's basically the same situation that we're probably gonna be in this weekend. Is you just smile and you listen, and you're like, "Damn, okay, what, try to shift the conversation how you can, but you can't, so you're just
Right.
sitting there listening."
Then you're like, I have to go this
I
way.
need a drink. Fuck
Yeah,
me.
well, now yeah, exactly. You've made me want a drink now, so I'm gonna go get a drink and then not come back.
Oh, and I did this. I know I had posted about it on my Instagram story, about just being at my dad's house this past weekend. I did that whole weekend sober, and they were both
What?
drinking. Yeah, because I didn't want to. I didn't really feel like drinking, and I was like, I probably should use. I could use a drink, but I'm not going to drink. And now I'm drinking. But
Right, right. I've corrupted you.
you influenced me just a little bit because you've been drinking.
Yes. Although I will admit, by the way, this is the first time I've had anything to drink for probably a week. So, or
That's
no,
same for me. I
sorry,
haven't had a drink in 2 weeks.
Thursday. So when I did karaoke on Thursday, that was so yeah. Otherwise, yeah. I mean, I don't drink that frequently. So
Yeah,
only when it's fun.
only when it's fun.
Remember when we did that drinking
We had to take what was it? We were celebrating our 10th episode of
our
Dating for
10th
the
episode,
Sucks, and
something
we
like that? Yeah,
decided
it
to
was.
drink. What the fuck kind of idea
We
was
just got
that?
drunk and did like random answered random questions, and yeah, that was a crazy
We
episode.
had already run out of things to talk about. We should have just ended the podcast
That was
there. And
90 something episodes ago. I know, it's fucking insane. And here we are.
yeah, 3 years later.
So Master Nun comes this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys gonna? How long is he in town?
So he's in town for 3 full days.
Okay.
So he'll be in town then, and then early July I go back up to Nashville, and then we're staying at his parents' place in Maine for a week, and I'm gonna have a family vacation with his family. I told you about this, right?
No. I'm just saying, ooh, it sounds
Ooh, yeah,
exciting. Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna be in Maine. And it was funny. He messaged me the other day. He goes, "You know, there's no internet at the cabin, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine, whatever." He goes, "You won't be able to use Instagram
Wait,
or anything."
what?
Yeah, there's no. Apparently, there's no internet. I didn't realize, or there's no Wi-Fi, or I don't know.
I
So,
bet they could probably
a
pay for
cabin
it.
in the wood. A cabin in the woods.
I mean, I guess you can if your cell phone connects or whatever. But how long are you gonna be gone?
I'll be there for a week.
But so I guess you're not working either because you can't really work
No,
if you're there.
yeah, no, it's gonna be a vacation.
What am I gonna do with a week without being able to contact you on the internet? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. It's not a deal breaker for me to not have internet up there, but yeah, I guess you just won't
Fucking
hear
deal
from
breaker
me.
for me. Like I just,
I know we talk
I'm
every
sorry, I
day.
don't like this anymore. You're not allowed to go. I'm
I was
sorry.
done. I was like, and he knows it. If there's something I'm telling him, I'm like, oh yeah, I already told Adam, blah blah blah.
Right,
I
right.
pretty much because he wakes up a lot later than you. Mostly I wake you up, but
Yes. Yeah.
I talk to you in the morning, and then in the afternoon I call Master of None. I'm like, oh yeah, Adam and I, blah 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 blah. So I talk to you more than I think I talk to him, but that's just right now until I see him in person.
Um. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this whole thing. Like with no internet on Maine, like that's just weird.
Alrighty. So weird.
How are they? How do you not like just pay for internet? Like I feel like it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, here I am, this cabin in the mountains,
I
and
don't.
they
It's
pay
their house.
electric.
I don't know. It's not a big deal. I'm just happy to be invited on this family trip.
I guess I feel like that's just like sounds like murder central now with no internet. Like that's what it
No
is.
one's gonna murder me there. It's a nice area that they live.
No,
Or
you
they have.
might snap and be the murderer is really what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you're going to be murdered.
Fair.
Local family's girlfriend, the snaps and murders family. News at
There's no
11.
fucking internet. I can't get on
That's
Instagram.
right.
God damn it.
How are you going to handle not having Instagram stories or TikTok? Like I don't know how you're going to survive. Like that just.
I'm not. I'll survive. I'll be perfectly fine. But and then after we get back from Maine, then moving in, figuring that out. There's no timeline. It's really just it's gonna have to happen eventually. I don't know if it's gonna be end of July, August, end of August,
I bet
sometime.
that makes you feel great just having some anomalous weird
Oh, I
cloud of
hate it. I fucking
wherever.
hate it.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it because I'm like, am I gonna spend money on a week for an Airbnb? Where am I going to live? Am I gonna be in Nashville until I figure it out? What am I gonna do? Do I have to go back in the office during that time? I'm basically homeless right now. I don't fucking know.
Right.
My family last weekend when I saw them, I was telling them, they're like, "Oh, where are you at now? What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I don't technically live in Nashville right this moment because I don't have an actual address. I'm using my friend's address." And they're like, "Wait, what? Why?" I was like, "All my stuff's in storage." So it's a weird concept for some of my family to wrap their heads around.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Same with my family. One of the girls that lived with me actually just bought a house, and she finally closed on it after all this time. She was supposed to close on it right before I left, but they ended up pushing it back. So now she has an address, and I'm like, oh, good. Now I have an address. Like I'm forwarding all my mail to your
I have
address
a
because
home now.
apparently I need some type of address to exist as a human being here in the United States. So your address is now my address, even though I'm not going to be back in Florida for quite some time.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, the schedule thing frustrates me too because I'm going up to the Nashville area in
Of course, yes.
July 6th through the 20th. I'll be up in that area, so you won't be up there at all.
Actually, I will be there. I'll be there right before I head out to Maine.
Oh, really? For like
Yeah.
a day or
I will
two?
be- No, for like 4 days. Yeah.
Oh, so we might actually have to meet up while
We
I'm
might
there.
actually,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
might actually get to meet Master of None
That
because
would be
last time
nice.
you were in Nashville, it was still, the middle of
Yeah,
the
he
pandemic.
wasn't
So
comfortable with it. Yeah.
yeah.
And then I head west, and I was going to go visit my parents in Utah, where they're outside Salt Lake City. My mother's going through some surgical issues and everything, and might be actually be having surgery at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. So now I'm like, well, I don't know how long I'm going to stay in Utah now, and then that screws up all of my plans from that point forward.
Uh.
So I'm going to have to play it all by ear. I'm going to basically have to wait for like the next month and then decide
Yep. It
how
sucks, doesn't it?
how long I'm in Utah, then how long I'm going to stay in Portland because I'm going to stay in the Pacific Northwest for a while, and then how long I'm going to travel across the top of the country and all of that. It's so frustrating. So yeah, I don't know. I like to
Such
have a
a
plan.
tough life you have there, Adam.
It is. It is. I like to have a plan.
It's just stressful not knowing where you're gonna go, and asking yourself, how much money am I going to have to shell out for not having a plan X
Exactly.
amount of time in
Because my
advance?
budget is very limited, and so I'd like to try to make sure that it's actually spent reasonably, not just randomly spent because someone needs me to stay somewhere new for an extra week or something. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Well, exciting.
Hopefully, I'll be places where we have internet, so it won't actually affect our recording.
Shut the fuck up. You would.
Yeah.
It won't affect our summer traveling schedule, I suppose.
Because we are trying to get back to 2 a month as far as our episodes. So this is.
I'm like, will we ever go back to weekly?
I don't think so. Like I feel like
It made sense when I was frequently dating, but now
since I don't date enough.
I know, because it was always Sarah's crazy dating
Yeah.
story, and is Adam going on a date this week?
Yeah,
Now it's
did I
Sarah's
just get
boring
laid or what's happening? Yeah.
yeah, now it's Sarah's boring relationship problems, and did Adam go on a date?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think your relationship problems aren't boring. I feel like people do enjoy listening to them, and I have the occasional dating experience. But I feel like weekly, we just don't have necessarily unless we start bringing in a guest or something. I feel like weekly is not going to be viable for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. It'll be
I'm fine for now.
It'll be an off air topic for us to discuss about what we're gonna do. But I think right now, or probably twice a month, is going to be the extent of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and speaking of twice a month, let's take a little break, drink some more. I don't know. I don't need more alcohol at this point, and we'll get back to
2 sips of fucking wine.
Well, I don't drink that much, so I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna chug some water, and we'll get back to the topic.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll be back in a little bit with the topic.
The main reason I wanted to talk about this as a topic is because I'm scared of changing in my relationship and just change overall, and with Master of None and I moving in together and what that future looks like and how that would change our relationship. And that's a new frontier for me, and I've just always been curious of, what leads to long-term success. We talk a lot about, the first couple dates and open and honest communication, which obviously open and honest communication is going to be a pillar in this long-term relationship being effective and successful. But I don't know, I just get in my head a lot of, what if we change in this way, or people are constantly changing, how should I respond to certain things? And that's why I thought this would be an important topic, because some people are in more serious relationships than just early on dating.
Absolutely. No, I think this is a good topic to get into because we do talk a lot about the basics of dating and meeting people and communicating, and we don't always have. I mean, I think it's still valuable to people who are in long-term relationships and have been for a while, because some of them end up realizing that they're in really bad long-term relationships.
That's true.
But beyond that, I think it's good to maybe start talking about those long-term relationships for that level of our audience that has gotten there, and some of us have been there and left it behind and haven't gotten there again as well, like I have. So I definitely think it's good to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, it's great when you hit that point in a relationship of you're vulnerable with them, you're able to openly communicate with them. And then where I'm at now is, what are the next steps? And I've had this open conversation with Master of None with him is saying, okay, we're good now. I'm going to go away for a little bit. I'm going to come back. What's our plan after that? I want to keep traveling, but is the next step us moving in? And I think I really get hung up on the fact that he's done this, and it's fine. Everyone has a past relationship, but he's
Right.
been with someone and lived with someone for a considerable amount of time. And I don't have that experience going into this situation. So I don't know what's going to change.
You haven't
Or
even actually had a roommate, have you?
for about a semester in college.
Right.
But never, I lived with my ex-boyfriend for a month, not even a month, in Boston when we were together. But that was my first relationship, and I had this romanticized idea of how amazing it's going to be, and we'll be living together, and we'll just cook meals. And that was not the fucking reality, but it was so short-lived that it didn't set in of, oh, this could potentially be a long-term problem. And then we broke up about a year and a half after that. So, I mean, signing a lease with somebody and going, okay, I'm committing to this. I mean, obviously, you can break leases, but I'm committing to this, and we're going to have to work on this new chapter of our relationship is a little bit daunting.
It is. I mean, that is actually a huge step, especially since you've never done that. And it is. It can be scary.
I feel like I'm letting go of a part of my singleness. And I mean, I know he was super happy to get me the fuck out of that apartment and he hated the building I was in and whatever, but I felt a little sad. Like I was giving up a part of my old life to then move on to this next thing with him. And yes, there are changes that are happening, but I'm not giving up a part of myself. I'm still me. But it was that thought of, oh, this is my single girl in downtown Nashville apartment where, I was my own independent person. And it's not like I won't be an independent person living with him, but I don't know, my brain just had like recalculating what's going
Right,
on.
right,
We're changing courses here. I wasn't fully prepared for this. I was expecting the relationship to end at this point. Like what's the next move?
right. And let's be honest, you living alone was like you weren't even really living as an adult. You barely had any cookware,
Oh, I know.
or you didn't own a fucking television or a microwave. Like you
I
lived
still
in
don't.
some weird Spartan. I don't even understand that lifestyle. It wasn't
But
even
I
like
was always out. I was
right,
never
right.
home. I mean, pre-pandemic, I was always out. I was never home. I would just invite a bunch of fucking guys over when I knew better and shouldn't have done that and was just sucking dick. Was that you doing
That
sucking
was
dick?
that was a second dick motion.
I was
For those of
sucking
you
a
on
bunch of dick.
YouTube,
I was sucking dick and having a great old time. And yeah, I'm still sucking dick and going out and doing all that now, but it's just with one person, which I'm
right?
very happy to be with that one person. But it's okay, I'm changing this aspect of my life. What other things are going to change in our relationship? And I asked my friend who recently moved in with her boyfriend of a little less than a year of, what changes or what are the negatives or whatever. And she's like, if you're very tidy and he's not, you're gonna have issues. You're gonna have to figure that out. If you don't like, and I don't like, I can cook meals for myself. I can't cook. Let me
Yeah,
rephrase
so
that.
yeah, Jose,
I can
you
cook
can't cook,
meals that I'm fine eating for myself, but I can't cook. And master of
right?
none can cook. So, and that's
But he
always the
actually
joke.
likes to cook. He enjoys
Yes.
the experience. Yes.
Yes. So, but I can clean up after, things in the kitchen or
Ooh,
while
you
he's
can wash
cooking.
pans. Good for you.
Shut the Hey, but that is valuable in a relationship.
I mean,
Someone
that's true.
has to do
That's true.
the cleaning of the kitchen and someone has to cook the meal. I mean, sometimes it's just one person, but
True, true.
if you know what your strengths are and what your partner's strengths are and you go, "Okay, let's divvy this up." It's going to be communicating with that, but also communicating, "Hey, I don't want to stay in tonight. You can be your own person and stay in and watch TV and do your own thing, but I'm going to go out," and making sure that the other person doesn't have hurt feelings. And we really haven't crossed that path yet because we've never lived in the same space of, you know,
Yeah,
you're going to stay in, have fun staying in, I'm going out. We've never really approached each other having different plans like that, but I feel
true.
like those kind of things could come up of, "Hey, I feel like I don't know if he'd want to go to things or I would want to go to things that he's doing," or I don't know. That's just something that hasn't come up yet. That is there going to be
Because you used to
arguments
do a
about
lot of
that? Or,
live concerts and things like that. Like they used to be kind of your fun thing to go do and stuff like that. And so you guys haven't done that as a couple just because they haven't
true.
existed really since the pandemic.
Mhm. Which actually, he asked me if I wanted to go to this punk rock show in September, and I said, "It's this guy I like." I listened to his podcast, and I was like, "Oh, it's him playing." I don't really give a fuck about the music, but I like the person. I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I'll go."
Yeah.
I'll go to a show even though I don't particularly love it, but I'm just trying to prepare myself for things that are going to be different in my day to day living, especially because working remote. He's trying to get a remote job. I'm remote. We're gonna get a 2-bedroom apartment. So then what, we're coworkers too, of making sure we have boundaries throughout the day.
That
Is
which
that
will be very important.
yeah, it's seeing each other all day, every day of maybe I need to go to a co-working space and work or we'll have our own separate bedrooms and whatnot just based on how we sleep and how each other operates throughout the day. But I don't know. I don't know. That's like the unknown of, is this going to go well? You don't know until you're in it, I suppose.
So the goal is to have your own separate bedrooms.
Yes, so I am an early riser and he is not. He
Okay.
stays up till 3 in the morning and I go to bed at 10:30 like clockwork. He has can have trouble sleeping and I'm typically out. And so we'll obviously sleep in the same bed, every couple of nights. But when, he's lacking sleep or I have a different schedule and I'm waking up early to do whatever, we'll probably just sleep in separate bedrooms. Just so we have our own stuff, our own space. We don't feel completely on top of one another. It worked for my grandparents, and they were married over 50 years. And my grandma had the master bedroom with all of her shit, and my grandpa
Right.
had like twin size bed in the side room. And we were like, what the fuck? But hey, it worked for them, and but it was because of their sleeping habits and just like having their own spaces.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, when Amy and I were together, even when we first started dating, we moved in together pretty quickly after we started dating because I was spending so much time with her. She was like, "Well, when your lease is up, why are you going to like? We shouldn't continue in our separate places. We should just get a place together. We'll save money on rent, and it just makes more sense." So I was like, "Yeah, that actually does." So it was kind of a thing that we went from each of us spending, $1,000 a month to spending, having $1,500 a month for a place. But we got a 3-bedroom apartment. And so one of the bedrooms was my office, and so I could just go in there. And there was the same type of thing. Like I would stay up late, and I remember even when we got married and we moved to Orlando, we would she would go to bed early, like 8:30, 9 o'clock. She'd be ready for bed. And when we first moved, she was like, "You're my husband. Like I want you to sleep with me." And like when we go to bed, so she actually got hurt that I didn't want to. I was like, "All right, I will come lay down with you," but then I would just lay there wide awake.
You're
And
wasting your time when you could do something else you want to do just to
so
please her. I mean,
yeah, eventually we like once she got over the kind of hurt feelings about it, like didn't realize that I wasn't doing it to hurt her feelings. I just couldn't sleep that early. Then I would go in and tuck her into, like I would tuck her into bed. Like I'd go and make sure she was comfortable and kiss her goodnight and all that. And then I would, I'd go do work in my office. And then eventually, like, I might finish around 2 or 3 in the morning. And then I'd go to bed and I'd crawl into bed with her. And it never woke her up. I'd go to sleep. And then when she got up at like 5:30 in the morning, I'd usually wake up a little bit just to hear her. And then I would go back to sleep and sleep till whenever I was ready. And she was really good about being quiet, about getting ready and everything like that. So it was never like a big deal. So like it actually worked out pretty well sleeping in the same room. The only difference was when our air conditioning was out. I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not sharing a bed with you." And like, I stayed in her office was like this little tiny room. It was like this little room that was probably like 15 by 10. So it was a small room, and I had like a portable air conditioner unit. So I would like plug that in that room. And it was like ice cold in that room, and that's the only room I could sleep in when we had no AC. But like other than that, yeah, I mean, it works out. Whatever. It doesn't matter where you guys sleep as long as it works out for both of you. Like that's as long as nobody
yeah.
feels like, you know. But it is nice sometimes in the middle of the night to reach over and like have the person that you're interested, that you want to be with, like laying next to you.
Mhm.
That is a positive too.
I know. And that's why I was thinking from the financial aspect of, oh, we're going to move in together. We'll get a 1 bedroom. We could have a little bit higher of a rent. We'll split it. I'll still be paying less than what I paid for my studio. Da da da. And he's like, no, no, no. We're getting a 2 bedroom. I'm like, oh, so it's really not going to be that much cheaper. Damn it.
But
But
it
it's
is though, because I feel like the difference between yeah,
slightly,
yeah,
maybe by $100 a month, which is still something,
yeah.
but not in Nashville anyways. But, and where we're looking, and I don't know. It's fine now, but at first I was like, "Oh, cool, perfect. We're gonna sleep in the same bed and blah blah blah." And he was like, "No, we're not, because I have all this other stuff, and where would I fit this and where would I fit this versus your stuff, and I don't like your end table and I don't like this and that'll go in your room." And okay, that's fine. I don't take I laugh at it. He hates some of the shit I have in my apartment, and that's fine. But, it'll be in my room, so I can do whatever the fuck I want to do in there, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's true, and it'll take some getting used to it. At some point, you guys might decide out of the health that it just makes more sense to sleep together and you each have your own little offices as well or whatever. But you have to kind of you were not going to know until it actually
Yeah,
happens.
until I'm in it. Yeah, especially with everybody having either a hybrid schedule or being fully remote, what that element is going to add to it. Because this entire time I've dated him, he's been trying to get a new job. He's been trying to get into a new industry, and we haven't even had working days where, like, I could just call him in the middle of the fucking day and be like,
Right.
oh, da 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 da, because he's busy doing some things, but at the same time,
No,
I'm
he's
not
not.
like, yeah, well,
He's
sometimes he
playing
is.
video games.
Not
Try
every day. Not every
most of the
day.
time because
I
that's
will
what I
give
would
him.
be doing. Is just
That's
playing
what you
video
do
games.
now, and you
That's
and
that's true.
you have a job. That's what
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
But I don't know. So that'll be a different dynamic too. But it's just the next step of, oh fuck, I'm not a kid anymore. This isn't a playing house scenario. This is some real life relationship shit that I'm getting myself into, that I want to get myself into, but
Right.
I just don't know, and I don't want to delve too much on his past relationship of what were the things that really fucking pissed you off when you lived with her. But at the same time, I don't know what I don't know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can't worry about that. You got to be
Yeah.
you, and and you is going to have some obnoxious things, and you is going to have some great things. That's really all that's going to matter, and it'll work itself out. Just like he's going to have some parts that will literally drive you crazy, and some elements that won't. And it's all in the process of actually learning about them, and then realizing how to adapt to them. How for each of you to be able to sit down and say, okay, well, what do we do about this? What do we do about that?
Hmm.
Um,
I
yeah,
think alone time is going to be really key, where I think it's going to be exciting when we start out and we're in this new place, and then at least we'll have our own separate bedrooms to go, okay, I need my own personal space. But
yeah.
that's an adjustment too, because whenever we're around one another, we're around one another, But
Well,
that's
I
a whole
anticipate
new
like there's going to be
dynamic.
like a solid week or two that I'm not going to hear from you at all, and then after that, it's going to be more consistent because you're going to be like, oh no, I need my alone time to like chat with my friends and stuff like that as well. But you're going to go through that initial phase where you just like guys are both up each other's asses constantly until you both realize, oh no, we need our space.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're not in the honeymoon, because there's what the early dating stages and then the honeymoon stage of things, and then you just kind of like level out and you're very, you know
Right.
how the other person operates. I don't think we're in the honeymoon stage anymore, but we're still in like because of COVID, I really think we're
Yeah.
still in a new exciting, oh, now we can eat at restaurants of there's
Right.
still
Right.
those
Right.
those remnants, even though we're very comfortable with one another and we don't, I don't know.
Well, and that's a big part of how relationships evolve, is that there might be things that you doing on your own wouldn't be a big deal, but might be a big deal if you're with somebody, like living with them too. Like just small things. And I mean, the example that I can give is that I'm the type who, whenever anybody calls, if I'm awake, I answer my phone. Like no matter when.
3 in the
And
morning, you're answering.
3 in the morning, like if I now I finally set up just for my own sleep. I set up my phone and go on do not disturb
As
mode
you
at
should.
night, but it's only set up for that. That if somebody like I have my certain group of people that are marked as favorites, like you're in there. Like if you call more than once in a row, then it'll actually come through
She's
because
dying. Somebody
it's
help her.
yeah, obviously it's important. So I'll answer then. But before all that, like I would answer whenever anybody called at any time, day or night. Like that was my thing, is always being there for somebody. And then I remember being like in bed with Amy, and it's early, and I'm not tired, and somebody calls at like 9:30 at night, and it's a friend who just wants to chat and say hi, and I pick up the phone. I'm like, oh hey, and I get out of bed and like go talk to them for a while because I haven't talked to them in a while. And I remember Amy being kind of like upset about that. She's like, you got out of bed like to go talk to somebody else. It was another woman as well, but it wasn't like there was nothing there. It was just it happened to be a woman. And I remember being like, you know, I can kind of understand why you might be upset about that now that I think about it. It wasn't something that I did on purpose. And maybe for the future, if I'm in bed with you, then I won't answer the phone. How about that? It was a compromise that I never would have thought of because it was nothing like negative about her. It was just something that seemed to be, upset her.
Yeah. I guess when he's around or when he was in my apartment, I would try not, even though, if my mom or dad or family would call and I hadn't talked to them in a week or so and he was there, it would be a very short conversation with a family member. And I would always apologize. Oh, I'm sorry I answered that. You're over. Because that's always been how I've been raised is, if there's a guest in your house, you're spending your time with the guest. You're not trying to talk to that many other answer calls from other people when someone's over at your house. But obviously that will change.
Yeah,
I'm going to answer the phone, but maybe not another man while I'm in bed with him.
right.
But
Especially not when you're in bed with him.
if you call and I'm in bed with him.
Yeah, I don't think I count in that way, anyways.
I was gonna say, well, what other man? That's my other
That's true.
thought.
That's
But
true.
yeah,
That's true.
you're the only one, I guess.
What other ways do you think that things are gonna change? What are other aspects of relationships?
Well, I'm thinking communication style wise will probably shift a little bit more. We'll probably have to, I don't know, communicate more. I think we communicate well as is.
Although you do barely communicate with each other, like that is, I mean, to like
Well,
unlike a lot
because
of couples,
we
like you
give
guys just
well, we give each other space and we don't do the daily check-ins of what are you doing or, whatever every single day. Like
right.
yesterday, for example, we didn't really talk a whole lot and that's kind of normal. And then when we see each other, we talk a lot. So because we'll be living together, I expect that we'll have to go back to not talk. I don't know. I just know our communication style will probably change a bit because we'll know everything that's going on,
I gotta say,
especially.
when you're up each other's asses all the time, like definitely you're gonna communicate differently.
Yeah, and that and boundaries too and we're already pretty separate already, but going, okay, please leave me alone in my office hours. Don't come in or don't I don't know.
Right, right. I see on TikTok sometimes they have people working from home and the spouse or partner is always like playing like kind of messing around with them occasionally. Like there was one time where there was somebody who was on like a video conference call and their boyfriend or whatever dressed up in a tuxedo
And came
and
out of the closet. Was
came
that
out
the
of the closet, like brought them a glass of water or something, and then like just like went back into the closet and pulled it shut behind them. And I was just like, and they were trying to keep a straight face with it. And I kind of love stuff like that, but I also wonder how like is he the pranking type? Is he the like when
Master of None could be, but I don't think he would do something like that on a call. I'm also thinking that some of the things we like to do might change over time too, just in not even just from moving in, but what we might like to do long term. Of no, we'd like to go see movies or we like to I know there's so many normal things we haven't done, but we might like to do certain things together and go, oh, we used to like doing this and now, things have kind of shifted over time and just having that conversation of, nah, I would prefer to do this on my own and you can do that on your own.
well, and also because you like right now you don't live together, so when you decide to do things, it's usually let's do something and then end up at your place. When it's your place and you've both been there, you're going to be more likely to be like, let's go out, like let's get the fuck out of the house and let's go do
That's
something.
true.
So
Yeah, because he's always technically out because he's at my place.
right.
Hmm.
So I feel like that's going to change to a degree, and then I think that you settle into a little bit of complacency when you're have that relationship shift when when as it gets longer term. Obviously, I mean, where you not that you take the other person for granted, but you start
You know
to
they're there.
yeah, and you start to just make assumptions as well, and I think that's normal and natural as well, but it can be a
What
little
about
what
what about sex drive and just overall the amount of times couples have sex during the week? Like right now, Master of None and I are doing it. Well, before I left Nashville, it was like 2 to 3 times a week. On a bad week, if we're like not feeling well or whatever, then it's only like one time. But I'm wondering, is that going to increase? I feel like it'll increase when we move in together and we're going to
yeah
want to fuck, and then it'll go back down to what it was. I hope it
yeah.
doesn't go to less than that, but I think there's going to be a change in that as well.
Well, I think to a degree there might be some change, but it also might be more of now that you're with each other all the time, you can also have more freedom to do it whenever you want as well. So it's not like, oh, I'm here tonight, so now this is what we like. This is more of
This
a
is the plan for
yeah, like we have
tonight.
to have a plan for tonight. I gotta break out whatever like just
True.
But now it's just hey, do you want to bang? Like
On
if you
a
if you
random Wednesday night because
right.
we're both living together. Yeah.
Or if it's the fall breeze starts coming in and Sarah
My
starts getting
favorite.
horny like she does, then you can just walk over and just bang him if you want to. So I think that you'll have you probably have it kind of how you want would be my guess. Um,
So more sexual freedom. Yeah, I guess that's a good point because when we see one another, it's, well, we're probably going to have sex versus when we're always seeing one another, it's just so do you want to fuck? Do we want to do tomorrow? I don't know. I'm like,
right.
but I know some couples over time, it just, because of other life things going on, it kind of gets pushed to less than
Yeah.
maybe once a week, every other week. So that's a conversation. I don't think that'll be an issue for us, but something to be aware of.
Yeah, and it seems like right now you guys have a sex drive that's pretty evenly matched.
Hmm.
And
But long term in relationships,
oh,
they go
yeah,
women and men
it could
just
change.
completely are off
Yeah,
on their
I mean, it
basis.
definitely that's a risk and a possibility. But I mean, like right now, you guys are pretty evenly matched. It seems like you guys, like you're not like oh, I didn't want to have sex but we did anyways. Like you're usually like, oh, I was game, like I dove into it too.
Or I didn't want to have sex, and then just a little warming up, and yeah, no, I'm happy we did that.
Right, right. So I don't think that. I think honestly, I feel like the biggest change to the as relationships grow long term is if you do move in together, because they're obviously, if you always stay apart, then the relationship sometimes isn't going to grow in a way that it should,
Mm. I
because
think
you
it's
never.
a weird thing of one before you decide, and we're not even there yet, but I'm saying just long term, before you decide proposal, marriage, that kind of future, you should live together, because if you wait until after that, like you were about to say that I so rudely cut you off, was you don't have, you never experience that next growth stage until it's like
Yes.
too late, quote unquote, because you've already committed to that, marriage thing.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I think you need to live with somebody before you ever get married, because you want to know if things that they do are deal breakers, because you might know somebody really well and love them and everything, and then you have all of a sudden like they have this thing that they do, and it is enough to make it like something that you're like, I just can't live with that person.
Yeah. It's not a dating deal breaker, it's a relationship lifestyle deal breaker.
Yes, yes. That's so that could be
Whole
definitely
new thing.
a risk as well. I don't know if there's going to be, but like
Like, for
I get
example, my best friend and her boyfriend, they've lived together almost 2 years now, but before they lived together, obviously they were at the stage that Master of None and I are at now,
right.
and now he's seeing how much shit she buys all the time. She likes buying excess throw pillows and all of her arts and crafts and blah blah blah. And so I'll mention of, damn, you put up with all of her shit. And he goes, well, she tolerates me wanting to play video games and having my own space with all those things too. So I don't see it as, he goes, yeah, of course, seeing an Amazon package every other fucking day is annoying, but that's her thing and it's her money and it doesn't hurt our relationship in any way. And I just have accepted that's how she's going to be. And that's fine. It doesn't impact my life in any way. So even though it's a new thing, it's not a relationship deal breaker thing. That's just something you come to accept.
Right, and you understand there's definitely compromise, because that was one thing I could see you getting frustrated with too, because I know he plays video games and I know he plays online with his friends,
Right.
and I could just see that you being like, the not understanding the appeal, and so then that being frustrating to you. That was one nice thing about Amy, about my ex-wife, was that she knew that if there was a new game that came out, that she would not see me for 3 days.
Bye. See you
Like
in a week.
basically, I mean, that I was going to go to my office. I was going to play the game until I finished it, because I'm OCD about that, and then I would be okay. Then I'd be like once I got it out of my system and I was done playing it, and I was then I was able to move on and go do other things. But I would not be attentive or have I would be focused on the game, and she was good about it. She's like, all right, well, I guess I'll see you on Monday,
That's your thing
basically.
though,
Yeah,
those are just you as a person things that
right,
they would know going into, but haven't experienced it in a day-to-day setting because they were doing their own thing in their own house.
right, exactly. So and I think that as the relationship grows, you find, because you guys haven't had a real fight. I mean, you've
That's
had
true. We've had fights that listeners thought he should break up with me for.
those weren't fights. Those were like minor disagreements. I feel like those are. I don't think you guys haven't had an actual fight, and so I think fights happen more when as relationships grow. You have the risk of one. I mean, if you're fighting from the very beginning, as soon as you start dating someone, that's a flawed relation. That's not a good.
Right.
That's a that's a red flag. Um, and people used to say, oh, well, it just shows that they're passionate about each other. No, it shows that they're
That's
toxic.
toxic.
Yeah, toxic as
Toxic
fuck.
person saying that advice too. So there's that.
Right. But I think that you guys are going to have some conflicts occasionally. You and I think that'll be the conflict resolution aspect will be different than it is now. Because now, if you guys have a fight, you're not together, but when you're together, it's a little having a fight is a little more different. It's a little more difficult sometimes too.
That's a good point because when I'm annoyed at him, I fucking call you and vent. Where the fuck am I? Am I gonna have to go to my car, get on
You're
the
gonna have to
phone?
go for a walk, yeah, and then call me.
Well, I guess that's a new, not that I'm expecting us to constantly be fighting all the time, but
No, no,
just
no.
to
Yeah.
talk about my relationship with someone, basically my relationship guru over here or expert or whatever over here. I call you and go, hey, this, I did that more in the early stages, but
Right.
if there was something to kind of bounce it off of you where I wouldn't just close the door in a room because he could hear everything.
Yeah, I guess
I
it
don't
depends on
know.
the place. Who knows? You never know.
I've
Maybe
never
there'll
thought
be
about that.
nice little split floor plan with each of your bedrooms in different sides of the house, yeah, or sides of the apartment. But it will be something that'll happen, and but you'll adapt to it, and you'll also get better and more mature at how you handle when you're angry about things, because
Oh,
that'll be
I just was annoyed with it. Well, not with him, but about something on the phone with him right before we got on, and I was like, I have to go. I'm fucking annoyed. Whatever. And he just laughs and goes, okay, cool, whatever. Because I don't want to just keep dwelling on it with him on the
right,
phone or
right.
whatever. I'm just like, let me just get in my own head without anyone else around.
Yeah, because I know how you are when you're angry, and so you need to, that'll be something you'll grow and change, hopefully, as you as you
Everyone's
get better
allowed
with
to
it.
be angry at something every once in a while.
You respond with like extreme sanctions when you get angry.
Thing. Okay, whatever.
You're like like they have like it's like a war movie, and it's like the Nazi general talking to his troops, and one soldier like accidentally trips, and he's like and shoots him in the head. Like that's what you do. Like you just go right for the Nazi war criminal, shooting the person in the head instead of just being like, oh, you tripped, yeah, go do push-ups. You jump right to the extreme sanctions. That's how you are, I think, when you get really mad.
If it's heightened already and other things haven't been resolved and it's at the breaking point, maybe, but not at anything that would just make me mad in
Well,
general.
no, no, no. That's the thing is when
It
you get
would
mad, you
depend.
get mad at everybody. You don't like that's the thing. You don't like some. You don't have the ability yet. I don't think
Okay, Adam. Okay, thank you for this
to
here. Thank you.
to say okay. Well, like it's like if you're in a bad mood, you're in a bad mood. Like if it's like
And
if
wait. And you know what Adam says when he knows I'm in a bad mood? Sounds like someone's about to start their period. Well, yes, that's true. And also, fuck you for saying that. That's
listen,
just
I said that earlier because I
that.
knew you were about to start your period because you'd already told me that.
Fuck you. Still, that's. Anyways, I digress. Back on relationships.
But I think the anger thing is not taking it out on him when you're angry at something else. When you're frustrated, because when you're frustrated at one thing, you tend to take it out on multiple targets. Wouldn't you say?
Sure. Are we about me now? Are we
That's
done?
about as much as we're gonna get through that part. I think that's the extent of that. But it'll be just a different dynamic, and so that'll I mean in the long run it's a make or break. And sometimes you move in with someone and you're like, oh well, this is the end of our relationship, and sometimes you
Glad
move
we
in with
tried that out. This was fun, but not
yes,
fun for long.
shake hands, all right, good luck with your life, or it's like oh this continues, like this is the next step. Now we know we can like we get along with each other and we live well together. Now we move on to something else, to the whatever the next step. Even though I don't think marriage should be the next step, and the next step could just be always living together and just growing as a couple. But
So you don't think marriage? So, for example, if a couple goes through this stage well, you don't think marriage is the next step. You just keep.
it can be, but this can also be the terminal step. That if you
True.
like,
True.
once you move in together and you start living with each other, and I guess you start sharing your lives together in a bunch of different ways, and then you start having threesomes. Like those are all the things. Those are all the next. That's the next step
That
after.
is a three.
It's not marriage. It's threesomes.
Okay, got it. Got it. Take
But no, I mean
notes, Dave. Take notes. That's the next step.
that's right. But I mean, because marriage can be. I mean, but I also think that like I don't know if I was in a healthy relationship with somebody if I would really want to get married again. It would really have to be more than just a good strong relationship for me to want to get married,
Hmm.
because that's just like it's just a whole separate thing that ties in the government and this weird organized religion aspect. Even if you can do it secular, in a secular way, it's just I think it's unnecessary.
That and then children come after that, because I think
Oh, yeah, I forgot
for
about that.
I know, because I mean that's like a whole nother issue where
Right.
I know a lot of people who have been married, had kids, and then gotten divorced, because the whole adding kids to that long-term relationship dynamic was something where they had a solid foundation up until that point.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they couldn't enjoy their lives as separate people, as parents, as partners, and that all crumbled too. But I also think it's because their priorities shifted, they didn't communicate that, and then they were on different pages with either how they raised kids or what they wanted to do in a day-to-day that their partner just didn't agree with or just ignored them, or it stems from a lot of
Where they tried to
communication.
have kids to fix their relationship, and then that obviously is not a way to fix anything. Like, it's like people get married or have a threesome to fix a relationship. Like, those things don't fix relationships. You need to fix the relationship before you take the next step. You don't jump
Mhm.
into the next step just in this hope that it's going to make everything better.
I think that's an important part too, is that just because your relationship is fine as is, there doesn't have to be and I'm saying this to myself because I'm the person of I want to plan. So what's next? So what's next? For me, it's okay, we hit the 1 year mark. Okay, we could both move in together. What's the next step after that? Instead of just enjoying the phase that we're in now and
Yeah.
just going, this is great, and if this is all, I hate to think in this like ending terms, but if this is all the relationship's going to be, it's been great. It doesn't have to have
Right.
an end goal. And I know a lot of people would probably disagree and go, yeah, but I want to get married and whatever. But while you're in each stage of dating and in a relationship, you should enjoy that and not always think what's coming up next. And I'm guilty of that, but that's
That's
a
very true.
reminder.
Yeah, and there's also and this is a big part of. I mean, I don't think we actually talked about this in this episode really at all. But in a long-term relationship, people change,
Mhm.
and you can change together. You can change. Sometimes people change in different ways. I mean, who I was at 29 versus who I was at 39 are two very different people. And I would not, I wouldn't want to be that 29-year-old anymore, but that 29-year-old person would not have been in the same relationship with the same person that 39-year-old is. And that's okay. That if I had gotten divorced at 30, 32 and immediately started dating somebody, that who I am right now would probably not be with that person anymore, because who I was compatible with at 32, it's unlikely that I would still be in that same compatibility with them that I think. But I've
And you
also gone
wouldn't grow and change with them though?
I think that who I am and how I've changed has been in a I'm more drastic in the way that I've kind of changed as a person, anyways. I think so. I'm going to be an extreme example, but I absolutely think who I am right now is completely just different to the people that I was dating 10 years ago.
Hmm. I
So
mean, yeah, that's a good point of delaying that. And it goes back to enjoying the person and the stage you're at now instead of trying to fit it into, I need to get married and have kids by X amount of time, or by the time I'm 30 or by the time I'm 35 or whatever. And yes, biology plays a role if you do want to have kids, but
true.
not holding yourself to that, because then you fuck up the other important, you miss compatibility issues, you miss potential red flags in a long-term relationship, you let other things slide because you're thinking marriage and kids are the end goal instead of happy, healthy relationship as the end goal.
Absolutely. And I think that it also becomes one of these things that can happen gradually, but in the end, like, think about who you were 3 years ago, and your goal was kind of a different goal than you are, for life than you have now. So it's going to be important that the healthy relationship is important, is a part of it, but you also have to realize that sometimes people just do drift in different ways. And it's okay if that does happen. Like, it doesn't mean that one person's wrong or they're one person or bad or something like that. It might be something minor that counseling can fix, where you learn to communicate differently and you just learn to accept who other people are a little bit. One of my um, really close friends is, she realized that she was bi, and she didn't know how to tell her husband, and they've been actually together since high school, so like
Oh
they're one of
wow.
those couple, yeah. And so she finally like was getting depressed and was like having anxiety attacks and all this stuff, and he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know what was wrong because he thought he was doing something wrong because she was always depressed and everything. And so finally, either through, I don't know if it was through counseling or just she finally decided just to tell him, and he was like, oh, that's it? Like, and he was like, oh,
He's
okay,
like, you
well,
could
like
have just,
then,
yeah.
yeah, let's just talk about this. Like that, like okay, like that's, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I support you. And so then it became it was something where they actually ended up having a healthier relationship as a result of her changing in a way that she didn't expect, because then their communication opened up drastically. Because once
Bet.
she broke up with that, then they could talk about pretty much anything, and so then their communication just improved. And once again, it's all about communication. Like that's so much of relationships is just biting that bullet and communicating, and not like being worried, not having the argument in your head and then not wanting to do it in person, like, but whatever, but always having, being able to just get it out and just say it.
Yeah. I'm just thinking too, if you're not, and now that we're talking about just sexuality in that way, if you're thinking to yourself, damn, we consistently aren't having sex as much. I'm not feeling as fulfilled in the bedroom as much. I think I'm going to look elsewhere. Before even doing that, if you're having those thoughts, communicating, hey, we need to start doing this, and start, whether that's therapy or just more communication about the issue that you're having. Hey, no, it was good, but I didn't come this time, or it was whatever. Instead of going, I know nothing's going to change, so I'm just going to fucking cheat or do whatever
Right.
instead. I mean, those, and it's not every case, right? But I mean, in some instances, you could prevent a relationship ending or infidelity if you just had those conversations of, this is what I've always wanted to try in bed, but you've been too afraid to say that to your partner, so you find it elsewhere.
Absolutely, and that happens even without sexuality. But I know that when I was single, and I would go to like blogging conferences, and I'd have like there was the handful of female bloggers that were kind of would be flirty, and one that was very aggressive and wanted to like hook up, and I knew she was married, and I was like, are you like, why, like what's going on? And she's like, well, it's miserable. I don't love him. I don't want to be with him. I was like, have you talked to him? Have you tried counseling? Have you tried any of these things? She goes, it's up to me. I don't, if I decide I want to do that, but otherwise, I want to bang you, and that's my choice as an adult. And if I decide I want to do that, then, who are you to try to tell? And I was like, all right, fine. I'm
I
not gonna
mean,
argue.
yeah,
I'm not,
but
I'm not gonna argue with you. Hop on the dick, but like, it's also like, could her marriage have been saved at that point? I don't know. But I think that the communication is important. It's before you take that step, you should talk to them. And if they're not willing to listen, well, then you can think about why you're still married to them too. Because that's
Mhm.
the other part, is if you try to communicate and they dismiss it, or they're like, oh, that's no big deal, or they kind of gaslight you, oh, I don't see any problem, etc., which is what my ex-wife said. Then you wonder, why am I still with this person? What is
Yep.
the benefit there?
Yep. Absolutely. So what have we learned today? Obviously, it's the same old thing, just wrapped up with a different bow. Communication.
Communication. I know.
It's
If it's all about that, but it's
it's
also,
just being vulnerable. It's the vulnerability of going, "Hey, I don't hate you. This isn't working out. You're not picking up your shit in the apartment. You're not pulling your weight with this. I'm feeling stressed and overwhelmed because of this." Or saying that, or accepting that they say that to you and going, "Okay, I'm going to hear you out."
yes.
And then coming to a resolution and an understanding.
And it's also the idea that, that relationships do shift, and so you shouldn't expect it to be the status quo as time goes by, as months go by, and then as years go by. That you should expect it to evolve, just like you're evolving and growing. And if you're not growing as a person, well, there's something wrong with you.
You shouldn't want it to be the same day in and day out. You should want it to be fun and exciting, like you just started dating. And I think that's the other important thing with long-term relationships. You still need to fucking date. You still need to get dressed up and go somewhere and have fun with your partner. It doesn't just end just because you see them every single day. Because that's when you start
It's
to feel
true.
like, oh, I don't feel like having sex. I don't feel important anymore. I don't feel loved as much anymore, because you lost the spark of the fun things you used to do, because now you see that person every single day. So still schedule that time in as well.
Yeah, I think that's very true, and it'll be, I think, interesting for our listeners, and all of us, as you're kind of going through this, because it is something where you'll have some, I'm sure, some ups and downs over the next several months, and I'm sure we're going to hear about them
This is true.
in some capacity. Whereas my life is mostly solitary, so it's less interesting in that capacity at least. But who knows? Maybe I'll settle somewhere. Maybe in my travels I'll just end up finding someone while I'm traveling and just be like, oh, I really like this person. I think I'm gonna move to this city just for the hell of it. Just move there.
That would be wild, but I mean, it wouldn't be wild in the same breath because you're you.
Yeah, exactly. What else did we want to say about just the basics of long-term relationships and
I mean, it
evolution?
really is the communication aspect, and then knowing that people change and accepting that and deciding, how are we going to change together if we want to continue this relationship? What will we need to shift in our relationship to make this work? And being open to change.
And when in doubt, try anal.
Yeah, I guess. Hey, Master of None's trying to buy me a butt plug. Before I left, he was like, "We really need to get you one at this point."
We
So
really need to get you. You should be like, you too.
he has one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has one. He has a couple of those toys,
Well,
but
that's good.
yeah,
Okay.
but cool.
But
But on that note, if you want to see all of the hot mess that Adam and I are, we've had some mishaps this recording, which you probably might not see on YouTube, but in the same breath you might. That's youtube.com/datingkindasucks. And like we mentioned, feel free to subscribe and like the video on there. If you have any dating concerns, questions, want to up your profile, you can always join our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/DKS podcast and be on there.
absolutely, yeah. Get good advice, get some bad advice sometimes too, but mostly good advice. And yeah, share some stories. We're always looking, and I always love reading what people have to offer in that group. You can join us on. We're both on TikTok. You can join us there. I do a lot of dating stuff. TikTok /Adam Heavitable, and your TikTok / Simply Sarah G.
Sarah G. Yeah.
And of course, we have our own individual Instagrams. We're on Dating Kinda Sucks. Is their Instagram at Dating Kinda Sucks? We're on Patreon. If you want to support us and you enjoy the podcast and you got $5 a month that you just want to give because you appreciate what we have to say and what we do every month, then you can do that. And that's at patreon.com/DKS podcast. And we also do bonus episodes. I just uploaded 2 bonus episodes, one for last week's and one for the one like 3 weeks before that I forgot to upload. So there's 2 bonus episodes up there. If you're new to the Patreon, I want to do a shout out to Steve T, who comments and watches all of them as well. So at least we know at least one person is watching them. And you know what? It's all for you, Steve. And of course, you can always email us at datingkindasuckspodcast@gmail.com if you have private questions or you want us to talk about a topic or anything like that. Then we'd be happy to check your email, or just even if you need advice, we can always shoot back some answers as well.
We can do that as well. Well, great. Now go on a little date and have some anal or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there we go. Go on a little date, have a little anal, just a little. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a brand new episode. So thank you for listening.
Until next time.
Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fucks on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are 2 of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.